Hey, sports fans, how y'all doing? This is me being me again. Long time no see, but we're still at it. I guess the news of the day, after weeks and weeks of machinations, is going to be Judge Kavanaugh got approved today. So it just, like I say before, it's either Trump TV or it's somebody else's TV, and it's 24/7, and I thought they'd never stop talking about it. But it just never ending. It just goes and goes and goes. Uh, I mean, it was just a different cast of characters every day, a different storyline. From the beginning, when the woman first, doctor or whatever her name was, uh, I shouldn't forget that name, but at the moment I don't have it at the end of my tongue. But it just seems like she showed up and they were off to the races. Like everybody says, she was a credible witness. She, told the story of how this information came forward out of her time with I don't know whether it was a psychologist or a counselor or, or what the reason they were in counseling that it came up. And it supposedly came up back in 2012. So that was about six years ago. And then she wrote the letter, private, confidential. I just, doing my civic duty, I think you ought to have this. And look where we ended up. And so she came, she talked, she explained everything. Wasn't quite sure who, what, when, where, and why. But to her, it seemed real. And then, then we had the other guy come up. I'll tell you what, when I first saw him start up, I noticed he came in and he straightened up some folders on his table, and straightened up his nameplate, and then he started with the book. And he came out hellfire and damnation, guns blazing, and went, read through everything that he actually had written, and overly emotional. And then this poor wife sitting there, and she's listening to all of this, and he just kept going and going and going. And, it's almost like, Jesus, are you ever going to stop talking? But he had something to say, and by God, he was going to say it. So he did his job. He said what he had to say. He got a little political, with the revenge part of it for, Trump getting elected. And then, of course, they drag in the Clintons. I told my wife the other day, please, can't the Clintons just go away? Go on vacation someplace and stay out of the news. But of course, our president seems to always want to beat up on them, so, there's nothing really we can do. So we went through all of that, and then of course they went with the FBI further investigation. Whether it was limited or it wasn't limited, who really knows? But it was as political as it could be. And so, we watched all the local news programs, national news, and like I said, it was just 24/7. You just couldn't get away from it. Even on the local news, you just couldn't get away from it. And then today I was out and about volunteering at my local railroad museum. And so I didn't get home until the very end of the vote. And the chamber was filled. Everybody was in their seat. And like I said, I just caught the end of the voting. I don't know, PQRS or whatever. And that was the end of it. He has been confirmed. And I believe at this time, what is it, 9 o'clock at night, he's been sworn in, and court is already in session. So I'm sure, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's going to be sitting in a seat, and he's going to do what Supreme Court justices do. So it's presumably the process is over and done with. Now, everybody's still going to talk about it. They're still going to complain about it. They're still going to bitch about it. But it's over and done with. So, I did see where there were thousands and thousands of protesters. And the one thing that I did see was, you don't like what's going on? Vote. Get off your best intentions and vote. And there were an awful lot of women there, of course, obviously. But, nothing worse than a woman scorned. And if they follow through, the midterm elections could be interesting. Could be interesting. So I don't think I can say much more about that. It is what it is. And there's nothing we can do about it. Like I said, it's over and done with. So now we'll go on to the next crisis. God only knows what that's going to be. I'm sure there's a lot of other issue that needs to be attended. And I did hear one of the senators say something about, well, we passed a lot of legislation in the last couple of weeks. Really? What did you do? How come? Well, obviously, we didn't hear about it because we were going through this. So they are doing their job, such as it is. And of course, everybody's gearing up for the midterm elections. All of the House of Representatives are up for sale. Don't think, well, there may be some senators, but, and of course, local politics. Local politics is crazy. Excuse me, I've got an indigestion problem. So, basically, I think it is what it is. It's over and done with. You got to suck it up and do what you think you need to do. If you're in agreement with this, congratulations, your side won. If you disagree with it, you know where the ballot box is. Go find it. Take your friends, your relatives, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your nephews, your next door neighbor, and any little old lady that needs a ride. Get out there and do your part. Otherwise, as they always say, if you don't vote, shut the hell up, because you didn't do anything about it. So get off your best intentions and go do what you need to do. So this is the end. As usual, my old friend from PBS, Friday nights, used to always say, bye-bye for now. And we will be back. Thank you.